As you know, anytime we have a guest, we do intensive research. Our research department does that.
Yeah, we do.
And dives into their lives so that we have all sorts of background information.
So if we need to attack at any moment during the interview, we can get in there. If Zoe, for example, today isn't prepared or ready for us, we can sneak attack her if we need to.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we have the research department.
Sure, yeah.
To do stuff like that. Yeah. I happen to know, I have heard from two sources, Jones. Zoe Behrendt wants our jobs.
Oh, boy. Get in line, Zoe. This is the high life right here.
Which honestly kind of concerns me because this continues a trend of people who want our jobs, which is starting to suggest maybe people think we're ripe for the picking.
J.J. Jones and Zoe could be doing this podcast in like 2 years.
So, Zoe, let's try to tone down the skill level on doing this interview so that you don't look too good at this, so that the big boss doesn't, shuffle us off out of here.
I don't know if I can do that.
That's what I'm worried about.
You're her competition, Adam. Really, I'm safe. You're the one.
Right, yeah, I know. I'm the first one on the chopping block. But we do appreciate you coming by, Zoe, from Carolina Volleyball, of course. Y'all just had a great weekend at Carmichael, just showing the Big Ten what was up, what went right, especially in that 5-set win over Michigan.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I would say Michigan was a super fun game, probably our most fun game yet this season. 5-setters are always fun, but especially against a Big Ten school, that's a huge deal. And I think our team just thrives under pressure. In the big moments, we make a good move, and, we do our best to win. And we've been super duper competitive and disciplined this year, and I think that's what helped us.
It's set 5. You guys are down 10-8. What's the mood? Is there any freak out at that point in time? Are we locked in? What's the mindset? Because I think you called timeout, right? Is that right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, so honestly, I felt pretty calm in the 5th set. But I do remember there was a point where Jackie Taylor got a huge block, and that was a momentum shift for us. So when she got that block, I think everything went right for us after that point.
There was a play from this weekend that was on ESPN's Top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had to go into the bench amongst people to save a ball?
I mean, I've definitely had to do that before, but Maddie May is insane. She goes for every ball, no matter where it is. Even in practice too, she'll be in the bleachers sometimes. So yeah, that was an awesome play by Maddie. But as a setter, I do have to do that too. Sometimes I run around a lot. So
as soon as that happened, were you like, ESPN Top 10 right there?
Yes. I mean, the whole bench had to move. They had to move out the way. You even saw our assistant coach, Parker. He had to, run over to the side. And, props to the bench because you have to be locked in. If you weren't locked in and you weren't paying attention, you may not have seen, Maddie come running at you. So, yeah.
Okay. I know Coach Shaw just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like the nicest dude on the planet. Yeah. I assume that at some points in time as the head coach, he has to get a little fiery from time to time. So 1, is he in fact the nicest dude on the planet? And then 2, does it ever get a little shocking if he ever raises his voice or gets fired up?
He is the nicest person on the planet. Let's start there. But I think he does raise his voice occasionally. It's not all the time. It's not every practice. But he likes to have a conversation when he's correcting you or something or coaching you. He thinks that's, more straightforward. We'll get to you closer. So I think that when he does raise his voice, it's okay, I need to lock in. I got to do something. I'm not doing something right. But we all respect him very much. And when he does raise his voice, we respect it. We listen to him and stuff like that.
Conference opener today, Friday. Why are the Tar Heels off to such a good start in the non-conference part of the schedule?
I would say because we all really, really want it this year. We want to be really, really good. And I think we all have a belief that we can be good. And we've been seeing this since the spring. We know that last year didn't go the way we wanted it to. And so since the spring, we've had a mission to, be better than we were last year. And we've been working every single day, staying disciplined, staying motivated. Our captains are keeping us motivated and keeping us our eye on the prize. Take it one game at a time, but, do our best every single game.
What things did you identify that were problematic last year?
I would say our team chemistry was not as good as it is this year. And I think if anyone who watched us last year could probably see that this year, that we just are more connected this year. I would say we have really good leadership. on and off the court. I think that Mabry does a great job on the court, directing us, keeping us locked in. Same with Maddie May. Like, those two people are on the court the whole time. And they don't have, they're not necessarily like the team captains, but they are our leaders on the court. And so they keep us focused and are on the prize.
Okay, if we have somebody listening who isn't deep into volleyball, doesn't know the strategy, so you're a setter. I mean, obviously I understand what setting means, but give us a quick explain it like I'm 5 of your role out on the floor. What are you out there to do?
Well, not many people know who a setter is because we're kind of behind the scenes, but there's the passer, there's the setter, and then there's the spiker.
Sure.
So first contact usually comes from the passer, and then the second contact is the setter, and we set the ball for the hitters to score. So honestly, our job is super duper important because we set our hitters up for success, but at the same time, we hold a lot of responsibility. So if the hitter messes up, it's my fault, even if it's a perfect set.
Right,
it's
yeah.
still my fault, and, you got to take it too. Taylor and I have thick skin. We take a lot of responsibility for the stuff that goes on the court, but I think setters are behind the scenes, but we're also very, very important. Hitters get most of the attention, and but I love my job, and I think it's super fun. Yeah.
So do you and Taylor have to have, do you have to have kind of your own little personal chemistry out there together?
Yes.
How's that work?
Well, we have really good communication, and we do a lot together, during practice.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, for the flow of the game to work, Taylor and I both have to, run the same tempo because we set the same hitters, but we're two different people. So it's really important for us to work on our tempo, our location, every single practice, because to have that consistency on the court for all the hitters is really important.
How'd you figure out that you were good at being a setter? Because I would think most people, first day of practice, first day you've ever done volleyball, everybody wants to spike it.
Right.
So how did you figure out, I think I'm best and have the most potential at being a setter?
Well, I didn't start out as a setter. I was actually an outside hitter. I started when I was 8, but
Wow.
That's when you kind of play all the positions. But my first few years of club, I was an outside. And then when I was 12 years old, my coach realized, hey, you have really big hands. Why don't we get you to set? And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I started setting. I wasn't very good to start out with, but then I started setting. And then in high school, my sister was the setter. She's 2 years older than me. She was the setter, so I had to play outside again. And so for my high school team, I played outside all 4 years.
Is there a lot of spiking in 8-year-old volleyball?
You would be surprised, actually.
Yeah.
I would be.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. If you're watching on, let me see the hands. You said you have big. Hands. Do you think you have big hands? I love the nails, by the way.
Yes, Carolina
Very
Blue.
Tar Heely.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes, I think I do have.
How does that help you? Why would I? If I was a volleyball coach, why would I be like, you know what? Zoe has kind of long fingers. I think that means she should be a setter. Why do those two things go together?
Well, I guess I can get my whole hand on the ball. And it's both of them.
For the setting motion that I do, it's helpful.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Okay, I do not have any family members involved in volleyball. Mm-hmm. However, everybody I know that does youth volleyball, I feel like they're the tournaments are in Phoenix and Vancouver and all over the place. How many thousands of miles do you think you traveled for club?
I have no idea.
Am I right in saying that
Yes.
these tournaments are crazy all over the
What
place?
if she had been they were actually all on my street?
Yeah, just be it was just
I've
within a
never
5-mile radius.
I don't know what you're talking
I've never
about.
been on an airplane.
Well, club volleyball honestly is crazy nowadays because
Yes.
I had girls on my team who would travel hours to practice because I'm from Wisconsin. There's 2 major clubs in our state. And so you would either drive 2 hours to our club or 2 hours to the other club, but it's a huge commitment. And then the tournaments almost every weekend, you would have to go pretty much everywhere to face the best competition.
Sure. Why has volleyball gotten so popular? Like, what do you think it is that has allowed it to? Because it does feel like it has a lot of momentum, not just at the college level, but just kind of throughout the country. Why do you think it's gotten so popular?
I would say volleyball is, like, in my opinion, one of the most fun sports to watch. There's something going on every single play.
Sure.
But at the same time, I think with the rise in social media and stuff like that, there's huge, like, influencers and people who play volleyball who are, like, big figures for younger girls. And so they're like, hey, I want to play volleyball. I want to be like her. And so I think girls like us on our team, like, we're huge figures for people who are younger and they want to try different sports. And I think people enjoy volleyball and want to play it because it's just fun.
Yeah.
But there's also people they look up to.
Is that weird to know that people you don't know think you're awesome and like pay attention to what you do?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't think that's weird. I think it's cool because when I was younger, I looked up to volleyball players. I mean, I didn't know a lot of volleyball players, but I'm from Wisconsin, like growing up watching Wisconsin volleyball, going to games, stuff like that.
Sure.
I mean, it's so cool.
Why was Carolina the right choice for you coming from the Midwest?
Well, I wanted to go south. I wanted to get out of Wisconsin.
Understandable.
And
No offense to Wisconsin.
no offense to Wisconsin, but you know, North Carolina is a huge name. It's a great school academically, athletically, all sports. Like everyone in my class who's an athlete here, I'm like, wow, you are amazing. Like they have been through a lot to get here, and so it's the best of the best here, and that's really what I wanted.
Are you a Packers fan?
Yes.
What's the deal with the Packers? Like they're the most college-like pro team that I've ever seen. Why is it like that?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not like super duper into the Packers right now just because
Look, we're taking a break from the Packers.
I kind of fell off of the Packers once Aaron Rodgers left, to be completely honest with you. But yeah.
Did you transfer to the Jets?
No.
Okay, so you're still when the Packers are good again, you'll be back in, is what you're saying.
Maybe. I don't want to sound like a bandwagon, but I do have to say, like, he was a huge part of, like, growing up, I was always a Packers fan, and you always knew who Aaron Rodgers was. And in the last few years that he was a Packer, it was like, hey, and people aren't really liking him as much. And so when he left, I was kind of like, yeah. Sorry about
Jordan
it.
Love, you're going to have to prove yourself.
Well,
I'm not sold yet.
he's doing well. He's doing all right. So.
All right, what do you like to do when you're not setting volleyballs?
Well, I'm setting volleyballs a lot of my time.
Sure, I understand.
Yes, but you know, I'm very interested in what you guys are doing.
Sure.
And journalism and media and journalism. So I've worked a little bit with Go Heels. I've been observing and stuff, and I talked to Matt Krause, and that's my passion as of right now. And so I want to get to know that a little bit more, and just I like watching sports. I like sports, obviously. So yeah.
Sure.
From what you have observed, what can Go Heels Productions and or this podcast do better, if anything?
Oh, well, hold on now.
Honestly,
Like if Zoe was in charge, she would do this.
if I was in charge, well, I think everything you guys do is amazing. It's so cool. I'm still new to it. I'm still new. I'm still like I'm a sophomore. I'm just like dipping my feet in the pool. So I think what you guys are doing is well, but I don't think that, you know, volleyball gets like a lot of attention, to be completely honest. So I think like but with the rise in volleyball and like how popular it's becoming, I think that we will get more attention, and that will be on us too. Like we're going to be playing better. We're going to be getting a lot of more spectators to our games. And so, yeah.
Good.
We've talked before about like a volleyball game at Carmichael when the team is playing well. That's one of the most fun things you can do at
Right.
Carolina spectator wise.
Yeah.
There's a lot of energy on the volleyball team. We tend to ask this when a volleyball player comes in here. Is that something that comes naturally to you, or did you have to learn how to be that excited?
It comes naturally to me, I think. But
No, go ahead. I just have a follow-up question, but I'm ready.
okay.
That's called being a pro, Zoe.
Yes.
I was trying to throw you off your game.
Got it. Okay. Well, it does come naturally to me because I get so excited for my teammates. I think for myself, I'm not a big cheerer when I do something great, but for my teammates, it's awesome because I love all of them so much. So it's like, hey, I'm your biggest supporter. I'm going to cheer as loud as I can for you. But sometimes, you're not in the right mindset and you're like, I just got to fake it till I make it.
Okay, you guys huddle. There's like a huddle after every single point.
Yeah.
Like, I know you guys can't be talking strategy every single time. Are you just like getting a good or be like, yeah, and then just getting back to your position? Like, what happens in these huddles?
It's not strategy every single time.
Right.
It's kind of just talk about what are we doing the next play. Hey, good job, good discipline, way to get that ball up. It's mostly celebrating what happened the last point, or if we lose the point, it's, hey, what are we going to do the next point? I think huddles are very important because it's keeping you focused. It's where people can calm down, and stuff like that.
Does the same person talk I'm not saying there's like a designated huddle talker, but do you guys your captains are talking or a certain, is the libero always talking? Like, who is talking, or is everybody talking?
Everyone's talking.
Okay.
There's not one person. However, when it does get kind of hectic and crazy, I would say Mabry steps in and she keeps us on point. And she's like, guys, this is what we have to do. She'll tell us what to do if we don't want to hear it. She does a great job of that. Also, I think Maddie May is a very calming voice. So yeah.
What % of the audio from the huddles could we air unedited?
Oh, I don't think much of it.
Look, sometimes you get excited, Adam. It just happens. Okay, ACC play, as Adam said, starting today. What in your mind is important today, moving forward, as you guys get into this and start making conference play happen here?
I would say take every single game, one game at a time, every point, 1 point at a time, because we can't get ahead of ourselves and be like, oh, Syracuse and Boston College this weekend. Let's look forward to Duke. No, it's Syracuse is currently number 1 in the ACC. They're 9-0. I don't know who they've been playing, but every team is a Pittsburgh. Every team is a Louisville. Every team is a good team. I mean, ACC volleyball nowadays is insane. Really good teams, and I think we just have to go back to our focus of being disciplined, staying motivated, doing it for each other, and putting the team before ourselves.
Actually, could I ask you one more thing? So you mentioned Pitt and Louisville. So it was last year that they were both in the national semifinals, correct? Is that right? Am I right, or was that 2 years ago? May have been 2 years ago.
Yes, it was.
But they've both been in the national discussion here recently. Does having a team like that in your conference that you can kind of be like, okay, they're there, we want to get there. Does that help you? I mean, does that help in any way to kind of have a very clear stated somebody who know's in your conference, you're going to play, that you can go after? Does that question make sense?
Yes, I think so. I think it's good to have those teams in our conference and to look at them and see what they're doing. But at the same time, it's that's where we want to be.